Olivia Reed stood at the entrance of Galactic Academy Prime, clutching her small bag of belongings. The enormous crystal doors towered over her, making her feel even smaller than she already was among the alien students passing by. Most of them were at least a foot taller than her, with strange limbs, unusual skin colors, and eyes that seemed to look through her rather than at her. Earth Student 4172, please proceed to registration, said a computerized voice. Olivia took a deep breath and walked forward. The gravity here was lighter than Earth's, making each step feel bouncy and unnatural. She had to be careful not to jump accidentally. The registration hall was filled with students from across the galaxy. Tall, willowy beings with blue skin chatted in musical languages. Six-armed creatures sorted through digital documents with efficient movements. Floating jellyfish-like students drifted near the ceiling, communicating through color patterns on their translucent bodies. And then there was Olivia, just a human girl with brown hair and eyes, wearing the standard gray coalition uniform that marked her as a scholarship student. The only thing that set her apart was the red band on her sleeve, the mark of a Deathworlder. Name? Asked the registration officer, a green-skinned being with 4 eyes that blinked in rotation. Olivia Reed, from Earth, she said quietly. All 4 eyes widened slightly. A Deathworlder. Interesting. The officer's fingers tapped rapidly on the screen. We don't get many humans here. Your gravity tolerance is impressive. Olivia looked down. She had heard this before. Humans came from a high-gravity planet with extreme weather, dangerous wildlife, and a history of constant warfare. To the rest of the galaxy, Earth was classified as a death world, and its inhabitants were viewed with a mixture of fear and fascination. Room assignment, Level 3, Dormitory 7, Unit 12, the officer said. Your roommate is a Quolani. They requested an Earth student specifically. Apparently, they find your species intriguing. Olivia nodded and took her student card. As she turned to leave, the officer added, one more thing, Earth student. Try not to break anything, or anyone. Your strength here is considerable. She found her room easily enough. Inside was a 4-armed purple being with large, curious eyes. It jumped up when Olivia entered. A real human. Amazing. I'm Nyx. The Quolani moved forward, all 4 hands extended in different greeting gestures, unsure which one humans used. Olivia shook one of the hands gently. Olivia Reed. I've read everything about Earth. Such a fascinating planet. How do you survive the gravity? And the temperature ranges? And the predators? Nyx was bouncing with excitement. We just do, Olivia said with a small smile. She didn't mention her special training or why she was really here. No one needed to know that. The next morning, Olivia followed Nyx to their first class. Interspecies Relations, taught by Professor Zixelk, a respected Vendari scholar whose body resembled a tall, elegant praying mantis. The classroom fell silent when she entered. Students shifted away slightly, creating an empty circle around her. She had expected this. Professor Zixelk clicked his mandibles. Ah, our new Earth student has arrived. He gestured to the class. For many of you, this is your first encounter with a Deathworlder. Please remember that humans appear fragile, but are remarkably dense in muscle and bone structure. Their planet's gravity is 2.3 times our standard. The students stared at Olivia, some with fear, others with curiosity. She's so small, whispered a large, rock-like student. How dangerous could she be? Professor Zixelk heard this and made a sound like dry leaves rustling. A Vendari laugh. Size can be deceiving, student Kroll. Humans can lift several times their body weight, run for hours without stopping, and survive injuries that would kill most of us. Olivia took a seat at the back of the class, keeping her eyes down. She had hoped to blend in, but that was impossible now. All she could do was stay quiet and not draw more attention to herself. No one here needed to know about her combat training, her real mission, or why Earth's military command had sent her to this academy. For now, She would just be the quiet human girl at the back of the class, and she would watch and learn and wait. 2 months passed at Galactic Academy Prime. Olivia kept to herself, speaking only when called upon in class. She ate alone in the cafeteria, careful not to break the delicate alien utensils with her human strength. Her only friend was Nyx, who followed her around with endless questions about Earth. "Is it true humans drink poison for fun?" Nyx asked one day as they walked to class. "You mean alcohol?" "Yes, in small amounts," Olivia replied. "And you run until your muscles hurt, for entertainment. We call it exercise. It makes us stronger." Nyx shook her purple head in wonder. Deathworlders are so strange. That morning, students gathered for their first combat training module. The classroom was actually a large training arena with weapons displayed on the walls. Some looked like swords and spears. Others were strange devices Olivia had never seen before. A tall, insect-like alien with a hard shell and battle scars across his face stomped into the room. His 4 arms were muscled, and his yellow eyes scanned the students with obvious disappointment. "I am Commander Drawl," he announced in a deep, clicking voice. "For 10 cycles, I fought in the Erdic Wars. Now I teach Soft Academy students how to defend themselves." His eyes landed on Olivia. "Even Deathworlders." The students formed a circle around the training mat. Commander Drawl picked up a ceremonial blade that glowed blue at the edges. "Who can tell me the 3 principles of coalition combat?" he asked. A tall blue student raised his hand. "Assess your opponent, use their strength against them, and know when to retreat." "Correct," said Drawl. "Today we will practice basic defensive moves." His yellow eyes fixed on Olivia again. "You, human, come forward." Olivia stepped onto the mat. The students whispered to each other. She could hear their comments clearly with her Earth hearing. "He's going to crush her. Humans break easily, don't they? This will be quick." Commander Drawl towered over Olivia. "Deathworlders," he growled quietly, "always think they're special. Let's see how special you are." He moved suddenly, swinging the ceremonial blade in a wide arc toward her head. The students gasped. Olivia didn't think. Her training took over. She ducked under the blade, stepped inside his guard, grabbed his wrist, and used his momentum to flip him over her shoulder. The commander crashed onto his back on the mat with a loud thud. The ceremonial blade clattered to the floor. The room fell completely silent. Olivia stepped back, her face calm. 5 seconds had passed since Drawl's attack. She hadn't even broken a sweat. Commander Drawl lay on his back, blinking all 4 eyes in shock. Then he slowly got to his feet, his hard exoskeleton creaking slightly. "Beginner's luck," he muttered, but his yellow eyes looked at Olivia with new interest. The students stared at the small human girl who had just thrown their combat instructor to the floor. Nyx's 4 hands were covering her mouth in shock. When class ended, students crowded around Olivia. "How did you do that? Are all humans that fast? Can you teach me that move?" Olivia made excuses and slipped away. She found a quiet spot in the academy gardens, under strange blue trees that sang softly in the breeze. "You weren't supposed to show off," she whispered to herself. Earth Military Command had been clear: observe, learn, and blend in. Don't reveal human combat capabilities unless absolutely necessary. She heard footsteps and looked up. Commander Drawl was approaching. She stood quickly. "Sir, I apologize for—" "Don't," he interrupted. "That was good technique. Clean, efficient." He studied her with his yellow eyes. "You've had training. More than basic self-defense." Olivia said nothing. "The galaxy thinks humans are dangerous because of your strength and endurance," Drawl continued. "But that's not what makes you truly dangerous, is it?" He leaned closer. "It's how quiet you are about what you can really do." He walked away, leaving Olivia standing under the singing trees. Her cover wasn't completely blown, but she had revealed something she'd hoped to keep hidden. She wasn't just any human student. She was a soldier. Word spread quickly about what happened in combat class. Students who had avoided Olivia now watched her with new interest. Some even tried to sit near her in classes. Olivia didn't like the attention. It made her mission more difficult. One afternoon, Olivia sat in advanced xenobiology, taking notes as Professor Mira talked about different species and their adaptations. The professor was one of the few other humans at the academy. Today we discuss environmental adaptations, Professor Mira said. All species evolve to survive their home conditions. She displayed images of various planets on the large screen. For example, Quilani like Nyx developed 4 arms to climb the dense forests of their world. When an image of Earth appeared, showing its oceans, mountains, and forests, the class turned to look at Olivia. Humans adapted to one of the most challenging planets in the coalition. Professor Mira continued. Earth has extreme temperature ranges, high gravity, diverse terrain, and historically, many large predators. This led to humans developing remarkable endurance, healing abilities, and adaptability. A blue student raised his hand. Is it true humans can continue fighting even when severely injured? Professor Mira nodded. Human adrenaline allows them to temporarily ignore pain. In emergency situations, humans have been known to perform incredible feats of strength and endurance. Olivia kept her eyes on her notes. She didn't want to think about how she knew this was true from personal experience. Her military training had pushed these human limits extensively. After class, a news alert flashed on screens throughout the academy. Olivia stopped to watch along with other students. Breaking news. Krell Imperium forces have attacked 3 coalition outposts near the Orient sector. Coalition fleet has been deployed in response. All citizens are advised to remain calm. Images showed reptilian aliens in black armor firing weapons at coalition buildings. The Krell were known for their aggression and desire to expand their territory. They had been at odds with the coalition for years. Nyx found Olivia staring at the screen. This is bad, Nyx said, all 4 hands twisting nervously. The academy is only 2 systems away from where they attacked. The coalition fleet will handle it, Olivia said calmly, though internally she was calculating scenarios. The academy's location was strategic. If she were planning an attack, it would be a valuable target. That evening, Academy Director Voss called an emergency assembly. The large hall filled with nervous students and staff. As you've heard, the Krell have attacked nearby systems, Director Voss said. Her 6 eyes blinked in sequence, a sign of stress in her species. The Academy will implement security protocols, but classes will continue. We have increased shield strength and deployed early warning systems. Whispers filled the hall. Many students looked scared. We have also contacted your homeworlds, the director continued. Some parents have requested immediate evacuation of their children. More whispers. Olivia remained still. Earth wouldn't pull her out. Her presence here was too important. Later that night, Olivia and Nyx were studying in their room when Nyx suddenly put down her tablet. You're not just any student, are you? Nyx asked. Olivia looked up, surprised. What do you mean? The way you handled Commander Drawl. How calm you stayed when the news about the Krell came. You never seem afraid. Nyx's large eyes studied Olivia carefully. And sometimes you check the room before you speak, like you're making sure no one can hear. Olivia considered her options. Complete denial might damage the trust she had built with Nyx, but full honesty could compromise her mission. No, she finally admitted. I'm part of the Human Defense Initiative. I was sent here to observe. You're a spy. Nyx's voice rose slightly. Not exactly. More like a student with additional responsibilities. Olivia moved closer. The coalition wanted a trained human at the academy, just in case. In case of what? Before Olivia could answer, the academy's alarms blared through the building. Red emergency lights flashed in the hallway. Attention all students and staff, came Director Voss's urgent voice over the speakers. Security breach detected. Multiple hostile ships approaching. This is not a drill. Proceed to designated safe zones immediately. Olivia's training kicked in. She grabbed her small emergency pack from under her bed. "What's happening?" Nix asked, panic in her voice. "The Krell," Olivia said. "They've arrived." Chaos filled the hallways as students rushed toward the safe zones. Some were crying. Others were calling their parents on communication devices. Olivia grabbed Nix's arm and pulled her through the crowd. "Not the safe zones," Olivia said. "They'll be the first place the Krell check." But the director said, "Trust me." Olivia led Nix to a maintenance corridor she had memorized during her first week at the academy. It was part of her training to always know escape routes. They hid behind large pipes that carried water throughout the building. "What's the Human Defense Initiative?" Nix whispered as they crouched in the shadows. "A special program that trains humans to serve in the Coalition," Olivia explained quietly. "We're stronger than most species in certain ways. The Coalition uses those strengths." Before Nix could ask more questions, they heard heavy footsteps. Olivia put her finger to her lips. Through a small gap, they saw Krell soldiers march past. The Krell were tall, reptilian beings with scaled skin and powerful tails. They wore black armor and carried energy weapons that hummed with power. "Find the students," one Krell ordered. "General Vork wants all hostages in the Grand Hall." After the soldiers passed, Olivia and Nix moved carefully through the maintenance corridors. They reached a small vent that overlooked the Grand Hall. Below them, Krell soldiers were gathering students and staff. Olivia counted at least 30 Krell warriors. They had taken control of the academy quickly. A large Krell with gold markings on his black armor strode into the hall. From the way the other soldiers straightened when he entered, Olivia knew he must be General Vork. "I am General Vork of the Krell Imperium," he announced to the frightened crowd. "Your academy is now under our control." Director Voss stepped forward bravely. "This is a place of learning, not a military target. These are students, not soldiers." General Vork laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the hall. "This academy produces the Coalition's brightest minds. Taking you hostage will force the Coalition to meet our demands." Professor Zixulk moved to stand beside Director Voss. "The Coalition does not negotiate with hostage-takers," he said firmly. Vork's tail lashed angrily. He pointed his weapon at Zixulk. "Then the Coalition will learn a painful lesson." He fired. Professor Zixulk fell to the floor. Students screamed. "He's alive," Vork said coldly. "For now. But every day the Coalition refuses our demands. I will execute 5 of you." From her hiding place, Olivia felt something cold and hard settle inside her. She had liked Professor Zixulk. He had always been kind to her. "We need to do something," Nix whispered, her voice shaking. "We will," Olivia promised. "But first, we need to know their numbers, their positions, and their weaknesses." They continued moving through the maintenance system, watching and listening. Olivia counted more Krell soldiers, at least 50 throughout the academy, too many to fight directly. In the West Wing, they found Commander Drull. The combat instructor had been injured. Green fluid leaked from a wound on his arm, but he was conscious. "Deathworlder," he said when he saw Olivia. "And Nix, you didn't go to the safe zones. Smart." "The Krell control the academy," Olivia told him. "They're holding everyone in the Grand Hall." Drull tried to stand. "We must fight." "Not yet," Olivia said. "We're outnumbered." "You have a plan?" Drull asked, studying her face. Olivia nodded slowly. "The start of one. But I need help." They found more students hiding in various places. A small group of 10 formed around Olivia, looking to her for guidance. They had seen what she could do in combat class. They trusted her. "The Krell don't know much about humans," Olivia told the group. "They don't know what we're capable of. That's our advantage." "What can we do against their weapons?" a small green student asked. Olivia reached into her emergency pack and pulled out a small device. It was standard issue for Human Defense Initiative operatives, though it looked like a regular student tablet. "First, we contact Earth," she said. "Then, We show the Krell why humans are classified as dangerous. For the first time since arriving at the academy, Olivia stopped trying to seem small and harmless. She stood straight, her eyes focused and determined. The quiet girl from combat class was gone. In her place stood a trained Earth soldier with a mission. That night, while the Krell patrolled the hallways, Olivia led her small group through the maintenance system of the academy. She moved with a quiet confidence that surprised even Commander Droll. The combat instructor watched her with growing respect. "We need to reach the communications array," Olivia explained as they crawled through a narrow passage. "I can send an encrypted message to Earth." "The Krell have disabled all communication systems," said a blue student named Lori, who specialized in technology. "Not all of them," Olivia replied. "The Academy has a backup system for emergencies. It's hidden in the North Tower." Nix looked worried. "The North Tower is heavily guarded. I counted 6 Krell soldiers there earlier." Olivia nodded. "That's why I need a distraction." She turned to Commander Droll. "Can you create something that will draw their attention to the South Wing?" Droll's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. "With pleasure, Deathworlder." They split into 2 groups. Droll took 3 students to create a distraction, while Olivia led the others toward the North Tower. They waited in the shadows until they heard a loud explosion from the South Wing. Alarms blared, and Krell soldiers ran toward the sound. "Now," Olivia whispered. They moved quickly to the North Tower. 2 Krell guards remained at the entrance. Olivia studied them, then turned to a small gecko-like student named Paz. "Can you climb that wall and drop this on them?" She handed Paz a small device from her emergency pack. Paz nodded and scurried up the wall with amazing speed. From above, he dropped the device between the guards. It released a gas that made the Krell collapse instantly. "Non-lethal paralytic," Olivia explained as they dragged the unconscious guards into a closet. "Standard Earth military issue." The backup communication array was hidden behind a panel in the wall. Olivia's fingers moved quickly over the controls. She sent an encrypted message. "Academy compromised. Krell occupation. 300 plus hostages. HEI operative implementing Protocol Dagger. Request delayed intervention." "What's Protocol Dagger?" Nix asked. "Internal resistance until help arrives," Olivia said. "The Coalition fleet is at least 5 days away. We need to survive until then." 5 days, Lori said, her blue skin paling. "General Vork said he would execute 5 people every day." "Then we make sure he can't," Olivia said firmly. She gathered everyone around. "I need to know your skills. All of you. What you can do that might help us." One by one, they shared their abilities. Lori could hack into the Academy systems. Paz could climb anywhere and move silently. 2 Thessalian twins could fit through spaces too small for the Krell. Nix was good with medicine and had 4 arms, useful for carrying supplies or injured people. "Good," Olivia said. "We can work with this." They returned to their hiding place in the maintenance area and found Droll and his group waiting. The combat instructor had a satisfied look on his face. "The distraction worked," he reported. "We destroyed their communication equipment in the South Wing. They believe it was an accident. We can't fight them directly." Olivia explained to the whole group. "There are too many, and they're too heavily armed, but we can make their occupation difficult." She began outlining her plan. They would sabotage equipment, disrupt communications, and steal supplies. Small actions that would frustrate the Krell without risking direct confrontation. "We need to locate the other students who aren't in the Grand Hall," she continued. "Form a larger resistance network. And free the hostages," Nix asked hopefully. "Eventually," Olivia promised. "But first, we need to weaken the Krell." Commander Droll watched her with curious eyes. "You've done this before," he observed. Olivia hesitated, then nodded. "On Earth, this is part of our training. Resistance operations." "Because you come from a death world," Droll said, understanding in his voice. "Yes, Humans have fought many wars against each other. We learned these tactics the hard way. Olivia looked around at the small group. Earth's history is violent. But now, those skills might save everyone in this academy. For the next day, they moved carefully through the academy, gathering supplies and recruiting more students to their cause. By evening, their group had grown to 20. Olivia taught them basic sabotage techniques and how to move without being detected. Remember, she told them, our goal isn't to defeat the Krell. It's to survive until help arrives. But as she said it, Olivia knew that surviving might not be enough. The Krell were growing angry with the Coalition's refusal to negotiate. Soon, General Vork would make good on his threat to execute hostages. When that happened, Olivia would need to do more than just survive. She would need to fight. 3 days passed. The Krell occupation continued, but small problems began to plague the invaders. Weapons mysteriously malfunctioned. Communication systems failed at critical moments. Food supplies disappeared from storage rooms. And occasionally, Krell soldiers were found unconscious in empty corridors. General Vork grew increasingly angry. He gathered his officers in what had once been Director Voss's office. Someone is sabotaging our operations, he growled, his tail lashing back and forth. Find them. In the ventilation shaft above the office, Olivia listened carefully. She had placed tiny recording devices throughout the academy, another item from her emergency pack. The information she gathered helped her resistance group stay one step ahead of the Krell. When she returned to their main hiding place, a forgotten storage room deep in the maintenance area, 30 students now waited for her. Their numbers had grown as more escaped the Grand Hall or were rescued by Olivia's teams. What did you learn? Commander Droll asked. His injury was healing, thanks to Nix's medical skills. Vork is getting desperate, Olivia reported. The Coalition still refuses to negotiate. He's planning to make an example tomorrow. The executions, Nix said quietly. All 4 of her hands trembled. Olivia nodded grimly. 5 students. He's already selected them. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. They had to act now. We need a new plan, Olivia said. Sabotage isn't enough anymore. We need to rescue the hostages. How? Lori asked. There are still too many Krell guards. Olivia looked at the group around her. They were scared but determined. Over the past days, she had taught them basic Earth military tactics. They had learned quickly. We use what each of us does best, she answered. The Krell think all species are the same, just weaker versions of themselves. They don't understand our differences can be strengths. She outlined her plan. The Thessalian twins will use their small size to access the control room and disable the security systems. Paz and other climbers would position themselves above the Grand Hall. Lori would hack into the Academy's environmental controls. What about you? Droll asked Olivia. I'll create a distraction, she said simply. A big one. That night, Olivia moved alone through the dark corridors. She carried a small pack with items she had collected or created over the past days. She wore the black training uniform from her pack instead of her academy clothes. It helped her blend into the shadows. She reached the Krell ship's docking bay. 6 Krell shuttles sat there, their engines cold and dark. Quietly, Olivia placed small devices on 5 of the ships. They weren't bombs. She didn't want to destroy the ships completely, just disable them. A Krell guard turned the corner and spotted her. Intruder, he shouted, raising his weapon. Olivia moved faster than the Krell could track. She closed the distance between them in 2 seconds, struck precisely at a weak point in his neck armor, and caught him as he fell unconscious. She dragged him behind a container before other guards could respond to his shout. Too late. Alarms began to sound. Olivia sprinted from the docking bay, leading the pursuing Krell away from the main buildings. This wasn't part of her plan, but it could work. She was creating a distraction earlier than intended. The Krell followed her, shouting and firing energy weapons that scorched the walls around her. Olivia ran at full human speed, something she had hidden since arriving at the academy. To the Krell, she seemed impossibly fast. She led them to the academy's outer gardens, where artificial gravity was lower to accommodate certain plants. Here, her earthborn muscles gave her an even greater advantage. She jumped a fence that the Krell had to climb, buying herself precious seconds. In her ear, a small communicator crackled. "Olivia." It was Nyx. "The Krell are moving. Most of the guards have left the Grand Hall to look for you." "Good," Olivia replied, ducking behind a large blue tree. "Tell Lori to start the environmental changes now." "Already done." The temperature in the Grand Hall is dropping rapidly. The Krell are slowing down. They don't handle cold well. Olivia smiled grimly. "Another advantage of knowing your enemy's biology." Reptilian Krell became sluggish in cold temperatures. "Begin Phase 2, she ordered. Then she turned to face the approaching Krell soldiers. There were 12 of them, spreading out to surround her. Olivia took a deep breath. She had been quiet for so long, always hiding her strength, her speed, her training. Now she didn't need to hide anymore. The first Krell charged at her with a roar. Olivia moved to meet him, her body finally unleashed to its full potential. The first Krell soldier charged at Olivia with his weapon raised. She waited until the last moment, then moved with a speed that surprised even herself. The artificial gravity in the garden was lighter than Earth's, making her faster and stronger than she had ever been during training. She dodged the energy blast, stepped inside the Krell's guard, and struck 3 precise blows to weak points in his armor. The Krell collapsed, unable to move but still conscious. Olivia wasn't trying to kill. Earth military policy was clear: capture for intelligence whenever possible. The other Krell surrounded her, firing their weapons. Olivia moved in a blur, using techniques specifically designed for fighting multiple opponents. She disabled 2 more Krell before they could adjust their tactics. "What is she?" one Krell shouted. "Just a human," Olivia replied as she flipped another soldier over her shoulder. In her ear, the communicator crackled again. "Phase 2 complete," Nyx reported. "We've locked all the Krell in the south wing in their quarters. The temperature in the Grand Hall is now at minimum. The remaining guards are moving slowly." "The Thessalian twins?" Olivia asked, ducking under a Krell's swing. "In position. They've disabled the security systems. Commander Drall's team is approaching the Grand Hall now." "Good. I'll finish here and join you." Olivia faced the 8 remaining Krell. They were more cautious now, having seen her take down 4 of their comrades. They spread out, trying to attack from different angles. "Surrender, human," one Krell ordered. "You cannot defeat all of us." Olivia didn't waste breath on a response. She moved again, this time using the environment to her advantage. She jumped onto a garden wall, then leaped over 2 Krell, landing behind them. Before they could turn, she had disabled both. The communicator in her ear buzzed urgently. "Olivia." Nyx's voice was tense. "General Vork has figured out what's happening. He's taken Director Voss and Professor Zixulk as personal hostages. He's heading for his command ship." Olivia quickly calculated her options. Vork's escape would mean failure. If he got away with hostages, the whole operation would be compromised. "Where is he now?" she asked, dodging another energy blast. "Central corridor, moving toward the docking bay." "I'm on my way." Olivia disengaged from the remaining Krell soldiers. She threw a small device on the ground that released a thick smoke, then ran at full speed toward the central corridor. Behind her, the confused Krell shouted and fired blindly into the smoke. Inside the academy, chaos reigned. The resistance group had freed most of the hostages from the Grand Hall. Students ran through the corridors while small teams led by Commander Drall engaged the remaining Krell guards. Olivia sprinted through the confusion, her focus solely on reaching General Vork before he escaped. She took shortcuts through maintenance passages, moving faster than anyone could track. She reached the main corridor just as Vork appeared, dragging Director Voss and Professor Zixulk with him. 4 elite guards surrounded them. The Krell general looked furious, his scales standing on end. "Stop!" Olivia called out, standing alone in the corridor. Vork turned, his eyes narrowing when he saw her. "You," he hissed. "You're the one causing all this trouble." "Let them go," Olivia demanded, her voice calm and controlled. Vork laughed. "One small human against 5 Krell warriors. Your species truly is delusional about its capabilities." "Last chance," Olivia warned. "Surrender now." The Krell general nodded to his guards. "Kill her." What happened next seemed impossible to those watching. Olivia moved with a speed and precision that made her previous fighting look restrained. She flowed between the guards like water, striking with perfect accuracy at weak points in their armor. One by one, they fell, unable to land a single hit on the human girl. In 20 seconds, all 4 guards lay unconscious on the floor. Olivia stood before General Vork, not even breathing hard. Vork stared at her in shock, then pushed his hostages aside and drew his ceremonial blade. "What are you?" he demanded. "I told you," Olivia said, her voice still quiet. "Just a human." Vork attacked with a roar, his blade humming through the air. Olivia stepped inside his guard, just as she had done with Commander Drawald in that first combat class that seemed so long ago. The fight was brutally fast. Vork was a seasoned warrior, but Olivia had been trained specifically to fight larger, stronger opponents. She used his momentum against him, never trying to match his strength directly. When it ended, Vork lay on the floor, his own ceremonial blade at his throat. Olivia stood over him, her expression calm. "How?" Vork gasped. "You're just a student." Olivia glanced at Professor Zixulk, who was watching her with new understanding. Then she looked back at the defeated Krell general. "On Earth," she said softly, "we have a saying. It's the quiet ones you need to watch." By the time the Coalition fleet arrived, the Academy was secured. The Krell soldiers were contained in the South Wing, guarded by Commander Drail and a team of students trained by Olivia. General Vork and his officers were locked in the high-security classroom, originally designed to contain dangerous chemical experiments. The Grand Hall, once a place of fear, now buzzed with relieved students and staff. Director Voss had organized medical care for the injured. Professor Zixulk, despite his wounds, moved among the students, offering words of comfort. Olivia stood by a window, watching Coalition ships land in the Academy's open fields. She felt strange now that the fighting was over. For days, she had been Commander Reed, the Earth operative. Now she needed to become Student Reed again. Nix joined her by the window. "You did it," the Qualani said, all 4 hands gesturing excitedly. "You defeated an entire Krell invasion force." "We all did it," Olivia corrected her. "Every student who helped deserves credit." The main doors opened, and Coalition soldiers marched in, led by a human woman with short gray hair and the insignia of an admiral. Olivia straightened immediately. "Admiral Winters," she said, saluting formally. Admiral Karen Winters returned the salute, then surprised everyone by smiling at Olivia. "Lieutenant Reed, impressive work." A murmur ran through the hall. "Lieutenant." The students looked at Olivia with new eyes. "Your cover is obviously blown," Admiral Winters continued, "but your mission was a success beyond our expectations. The intelligence you gathered on Krell tactics will be invaluable." Director Voss stepped forward, her 6 eyes blinking in confusion. "Lieutenant." "Admiral, what is going on?" Admiral Winters turned to the director. "I apologize for the deception. Lieutenant Olivia Reed is an officer in Earth's military command, assigned to the Human Defense Initiative. She was placed here on a deep cover assignment." "A spy?" someone in the crowd asked. "No," the Admiral corrected. "An intelligence officer. We had information suggesting the Krell might target this academy. Lieutenant Reed was sent to gather information and, if necessary, protect the students and staff." Professor Zixulk limped forward, leaning on a makeshift cane. I knew there was something special about you, Olivia, he said. From the first day. Olivia smiled slightly. I tried to blend in, Professor. By being quiet and unnoticed, Zixulk said. A clever strategy for a Deathworlder. The next few hours were busy with coalition troops securing the academy, treating the injured, and processing the Krell prisoners. Olivia gave her official report to Admiral Winters, detailing everything that had happened during the occupation. What happens now? She asked when the report was complete. You'll be debriefed on Earth, Admiral Winters said. After that, you'll likely be promoted. This operation was a remarkable success. Olivia looked out at the academy grounds. And then? That depends. Do you want to continue with intelligence work, or would you prefer a different assignment? Before Olivia could answer, Nyx rushed up to them. Are you leaving? The Quilani asked, obvious distress in her voice. For debriefing, yes, Olivia replied. But will you come back? Nyx looked at Admiral Winters. Can she come back? Admiral Winters studied the Quilani, then looked at Olivia. That could be arranged. The Academy could use a human combat instructor, if that's what Lieutenant Reed wants. Later, as Olivia packed her few belongings in her dorm room, Professor Zixulk came to see her. The professor's wounds were properly treated now, and he moved more easily. I wanted to thank you, he said. You saved many lives. I was just doing my job, Professor. Zixulk made the rustling sound that was his laugh. You humans always say that. Just doing my job. As if it's normal to face an enemy force alone. Olivia shrugged. It's what we train for. Will you return to us? The professor asked. The students would benefit from your knowledge, and he hesitated. I believe you have more to learn here as well. Olivia looked around the room she had shared with Nyx. She thought about the classes, the other students, and everything she had experienced. Despite the danger, she had found something valuable here. Yes, she said finally. I think I will come back. I still have a lot to learn. The professor nodded approvingly. And next time, perhaps you won't feel the need to be so quiet. Olivia smiled. For the first time since arriving at the academy, she felt like she could truly be herself. Not just Olivia Reed, the quiet student, or Lieutenant Reed, the Earth soldier, but both parts together. I think you're right, Professor, she said. Sometimes it's good to make a little noise.